we said we were going to tell a love story. and there's somebody else in your life. Let's dive into that for just a minute.
Well, many years ago on Tuscaloosa Avenue, there was a laundromat right next door to a service station. And during that time period in our life, we didn't have a washer and dryer at home, and there was many homes in that community that didn't have the luxury of having a washer and dryer at home. And on Saturdays, me and my brothers and my mother, we would load up clothes and go to the laundromat and wash clothes on Saturdays. But on this one particular Saturday, I gazed at this young lady and didn't know who she was and didn't know anything about her.
Wait a minute, you're 8 years old.
8 years old.
Let's don't forget that part.
Yes, I am 8 years old at this time, and it's for some random reason, I had this thought and said to my mother, I said, "Mama, that young lady right there could be my wife one day." And my mother, she said, "Son, be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Get in that car."
I can see that happen. I just visualize.
Yeah.
Get in that car, Walter.
Yeah.
So she didn't know. She didn't know what was. Tell the rest of the story.
But as life went on, I come to find out that she didn't live too far away from me. A couple of streets over. My wife grew up on Avenue E, and that was probably about 4 or 5 blocks over from where I lived at and everything. But as time went on, we got into high school. I was a 9th grader, and she was an 8th grader at General Forest. Me and her crossed paths again. And we began to start dating one another, and our dating went from high school to college and into marriage, and praise be to the Lord. The Lord allowed us to see August the 5th, 2022. We'll be married 32 years. 32
years. All started when you were 8 years old at the laundromat.
At the laundromat, yes.
But you got more than just you got a great wife. By the way, if high school buddies are watching, that's Cynthia Etheridge.
Right.
And there are lots of Etheridge. There's 9 of them, right?
10 of them in all.
10 of them in all. So you got more than just Cynthia.
Right.
Let's talk about what you got came in that package.
Well, what came in that package is it was a family of 10. That was three girls and that was seven boys and everything. And my wife's father, I thank and praise God for him. I think he was a great example on the earth of what a father should be to their children and being a husband unto his wife. You know, in the process of me beginning to get to know his daughter, one day I was over there sitting in the living room, and someone was sitting around the table to eat, and he invited me to the table. He said, "Son, come on to the table." He says, "You don't have to sit back there and wait till she finishes eating." He says, "I'm a family man. He's plenty in this house for everybody to eat." So he said, "Come on to the table and eat with us."
He was also brave because you could put away a lot of food. So he invited you to the table, and you accepted that invitation, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I accepted that invitation and found out that my wife's mother was a good cook.
Check. That's on your list. You got to have a good cook.
Yeah, and periodically I found myself sitting at that table pretty regularly.
And Mr. Etheridge kind of became a father that you didn't have at that time.
Yes, he was. Mr. Etheridge was a great father figure. And even though after he retired from 2 jobs, he went right back to work a few days later. This man would hit the floor at 5 o'clock in the morning, lived to be almost 94 years old. And he was a man of great wisdom, I believe, when it came to being a father, because one in the process of me having the desire to want to get married to his daughter, he said this to me. He said, "Son," he says, "I believe in being a family." He says, "You don't get in this to get out of it. He said, you get in this to stay in it. And he said to me, he says, in the process of you having the desire to marry my daughter, he says, one thing I want to find out from you is, do you have a job? And I want to know where that job is at. And he says, I'm coming to see you.
He just didn't want to know that you had one. He's going to come and check you out.
Yes. And I believe we need to do that today.
Yeah. So did he show up at work?
Yes, he showed up at work. And some fathers need to show up at work today.
Yeah. He verified. And tell us what he told you about your house. You know.
My father-in-law, Mr. Etchers, one of the things he would do on the weekend, he would go around and visit his children, and he came by our house one weekend and asked me about the grass being cut, and I said, well, Mr. Etchers, at this present time I don't own a lawnmower, and I said I pay somebody to cut my grass, and he says, okay. He says, I'll see y'all next week. So the following weekend come around, and he says, Walter, he said, I need you to come outside. So I go outside. And he said, son, he said, from this day forward, you have no excuse about keeping the grass cut. He says, I went and bought you a lawnmower.
Wow.
And in the process of him going and buying me a lawnmower and being married for 32 years, that's only one time during the time of my marriage that someone cut our yard.
And that was the last time the grass got high, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the last time the grass got high.
Yeah, you didn't want father-in-law coming by and the grass being high.
No.